She got the funniest look on her face, and she set the dish towel down. And she said, I felt it too. And I was relieved, because the way she looked at me, I thought I was going to get the "you're going to go to hell" speech. So I started talking to her, and we found out that the man had scared her, and he had also scared my dad. Although my dad won't talk about it to this day. If you mention anything about the ghost, my dad says, "You're all crazy. You're all imagining things. You're nuts." And my brother reported feeling it too. And he was just a part of growing up. He'd open the door, I'd be in the bathroom, I'd feel him outside the door, and I'd say, "Go away." Every once in a while the door would swing open, and I'd say, "Perverted much? Close the door." It would swing back the other way. It was no nonsense, nonchalant. It wasn't, "Oh, I need to help you move on." No, didn't care. Didn't care if he moved on. But you would have to understand the type of things my mother witnessed growing up, which is why the paranormal in my family was so accepted and not laughed about and, "Oh, we need to get a Ouija board, we need to hold a seance." No. Things happened in my mother's family that no one can explain, and no one ever tried to explain. My mother saw one of her uncles, when he died, there was a crowd of people, everyone saw it. A fireball bounced out of the second story where he was, rolled down the levee, and disappeared. Everyone saw it. Then, my great uncle, who's been dead for many, many years now, her uncle, a light would come on over his head at night when he would leave work. My mother said that it was just like someone had switched on a light bulb. It would follow him all the way home. It would follow him through town. Everyone saw it. There was not one person that said, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You're lying. You're making that up." Everyone saw it. It would follow him to his door and disappear. And everyone kept saying, "Edward, why don't you ask it what it wants?" And he's like, "No, it might want me. So I'm not going to talk to it." And this is just how the paranormal was always dealt with in my family, which has given me a unique perspective. And just like Mr. X, as I'll call the man in the house that I grew up with, it's the same reason that he was handled in the manner he was. It's just part of life. Had the paranormal been Hollywooded up, and had we acted silly and felt the need to call in people and make a spectacle of ourselves, I probably wouldn't be as staunch in my beliefs as I am today. But as it was, the ghost was in the house I grew up in. There's a ghost in my house now. That's just how it was. That's just how it is. If the old man in my house growing up didn't like us being there, too bad. If we didn't like him being there, too bad. Same with the ghost in my house now. She may not like us in there. We don't care. We may not like some of the things she does. Too bad. That's just how it is. And now that I'm older and see all of the woefully disgusting crap that goes on TV, what a joke the world of the paranormal has become, I'm very, very grateful to my mother for the way she raised me. Because instead of being hysterical every time something happens, or saying, "Oh, we need to go get someone to cleanse the house," my attitude's, "Oh, really? Now, I did put these experiences in a book that I wrote, A Walk in the Moonlight. Some of you bought it over the weekend. But that's just because there will be a recorded history. Because it's not like my mother's going to go around telling everyone. I'll tell people, but it's not like we're looking for fame or fortune or anything else with it. I did it just so there will be a recorded history of things that have happened to me in my life. I'm not subject to suggestion. I don't get caught up in the moment. I don't walk around saying, "I need to feel the spirits. I need to feel the energy in the air." No, you're never going to see me do anything like that. My eyes don't roll into the back of my head. I don't feel the need to look or act stupid while I'm on an investigation. I'm not going to sweep through places chanting and burning sage and saying, "I need to call the spirits to release them." No. And one thing else I'm not going to do is say, "Give me a sign that you're here." If you have true ability, believe me, you're going to know if there's something there. You won't need to summon any spirits. You won't need to ask them to communicate with you. While I cannot tell you what's in a particular place, I can't walk into a room and say, "I see a little girl over in the corner," or "I see an old man over here with a cane." I can't tell you anything specific like that because I don't care to tell you anything specific like that. To me, it's just, yeah, there's a presence here. I can, however, though, validate if you have a feeling that there is something somewhere, which is what I will do. I'm not going to banish it for you. I'm not going to talk to it for you. I will simply validate that it's there. If you want no BS and you want an air of authenticity to your investigation, I'm a good person to have, because my word is everything. And it's not that I'm an elitist, it's not that I'm arrogant, it's not that I think I'm better than everyone else, but my word actually means something to me. And I'm not looking for website hits. I'm not looking for dollars to roll into my pocket. I'm not looking for fame and notoriety. I am looking to make the world of the paranormal something respectable again, something it has not been for quite a while. I have been involved in the paranormal for over 20 years and have yet to have anyone take me up on my offer of validating their investigations. There are tons of paranormal groups in Florida, which is where I live. None of them have taken me up on my investigation, or my investigation offer, so that simply tells me one thing. I'd rather be known for being a stand-up gal and being the type of person, if someone says, if Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc was on your investigation and she said she felt something, take that to the bank, because there really was something there. Instead of, oh, you had Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc on your investigation, well, you know she's a joke, right? She's in it just because she wants website hits, and she's in it to sell books, and she's in it because she wants people to visit her and have her come out to their house. No. So now that you have a little background on me, my history, and what I stand for, I'll open up the floor to you and you can ask me anything. Anything you want. As I said, I have a baby's coffin in my living room, which was an anniversary gift from my husband. I have an antique meat cleaver that a fan actually sent through the U.S. Postal Service to me for my birthday a few years ago. I collect memento mori. I have murals painted on my walls. I've done cemetery photography shoots. I collect gravestone epitaphs. Ask me anything you want, and I'll answer it for you. Ask away. I actually found this dress in an antique shop in Tarpon Springs, Florida. It's a 1949 funeral dress. It's a funeral dress. But I get the majority of my clothes, believe it or not, at thrift shops and yard sales. And I feel no shame saying that, because I don't want to look like anyone else. And it's amazing what you can find at thrift shops and yard sales.
Someone here wants to know, do you feel anything here?
Oh, I felt quite a few things here. Oh yeah. When I went down into the basement, the sub-basement where the black mass is, I walked around there yesterday and immediately felt that I wasn't welcome. I just walked in, I was like, ooh, not very welcome here. And I walked around, and I'm the type of person that if I feel I'm not welcome, oh, no, I don't take being told no well. So I was charging all over the basement, all over the place, shining my light, looking for stuff. And this morning when I went back in, because I took a couple of friends of mine down there, I went back in and I didn't feel anything. So I went back to where my husband had found some charcoal shaped into pencils, real thick pencils. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I picked a piece up and I was drawing on the wall like I was yesterday with it. I put an A up there and everything. And I was like, I want a piece of this. And I was down there with Lynn earlier. He said, no, you can't take it. I said, no, I can't take it. I said, it's just cool. I just want a piece of it. I said, but I can't. I know. So I threw it down. I was like, all right. And as we were walking away, I felt something crawling up my back. And I was like, oh, I've been busted. And he's like, what? I said, I feel something crawling up and down my back. I said, so I've been busted. No, it was just crawling, like I was in trouble, like I'd done something wrong, like I was just waiting for somebody to say, stop, like you got that feeling like you're gonna get in trouble, you've done something, and that was the feeling that I had. But until I said I was gonna steal that piece of charcoal, I didn't feel a thing there today. And yesterday upstairs, there's a ladder going up. From the catwalk, I didn't feel too much. I mean, I felt energy. I felt something on the stage back here yesterday. I felt that uneasy anticipation, that nervousness like I always felt back when I was younger and I used to perform, because I spent my childhood as a ballerina. I was training for the Olympics at 10 years old. I did baton, I did rhythmic gymnastics, so I've always been in the spotlight. So being on stage, as if you can't tell, doesn't make me nervous at all. So I knew it wasn't that, but when I walked across the stage, I felt something that was almost suffocating. And it felt like those feelings I had as a child. I was like, ooh. been a lot of nervous people up here. And then I felt something, I can't remember exactly where it was, but I felt it yesterday. And it felt, I almost couldn't breathe. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm being hugged too hard. I think it was up there somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but it was like, oh, somebody's hugging me too hard. No, it wasn't Eric. It wasn't Eric. And then there's a ladder leading down from the catwalk. There's like a hole up there, and then there's a ladder coming down. And I just went and stood, and I was like, I don't like this area. I don't like any of this right here. And I looked at Marty and I said, this is what I do. If I don't like something, I'm going to go stand in it. I said, so I don't like this area. And then being a typical woman and being terrible with directions, when we got back downstairs and there was the stairs leading up to it and they were blocked off, I was like, and I don't like these stairs either. My husband said, dear, that's the ladder where you said you didn't like the hole in the ceiling. And I was like, oh. I said, well, it's a good thing that the stairs are blocked off because I'm not going up there, even if they weren't blocked. No. So I felt all kinds of things around here. But none of it has freaked me out. The fear of seeing the black mass in the basement, I'm like, no, where is it? Oh, it's it. And two, that's because I didn't go down there saying, I need to communicate with the black mass. I need to find it and free it. I was like, no, prove to me that you're here. Because I am, after all, a die-hard skeptic. I don't believe in orbs. I have a real difficult time with orbs because I have some friends that say, well, if you walk into a black room with a camera with no flash and you take a picture and you get an orb and it's solid, then you've got something on film. But then you've got a lot of other paranormal investigators that every time they see a speck and a fleck and, oh, you've got orbs. No. Prove to me that it's an orb. Prove to me, like I took a picture of this yesterday when I was in here. You ought to see all over the place. And the first thing I said was, glass chandelier, lights, rigging, anything that can pick up the flash and reflect it. Now there was one circle that was solid. You could not see through it. Now that one, I might be interested to find out what exactly that was, but am I going to say it was an orb? No, because I don't have any proof of that. Same thing with EVPs. Now the one, I'm not going to say that they don't exist, but I myself would like to hear one. The one that Brendan played earlier freaked me out, the one from the kitchen where the lady's apologizing. Oh, I heard that, my skin crawled off my body. Because that is the only thing I have ever heard that actually is what I think an EVP should sound like. If the dead are going to talk to you, talk where I can hear you. You know, don't disguise anything, don't whisper at me, say something. And the woman apologizing and saying that she swears she didn't mean to do it, that totally freaked me out. I want to hear something like that.
So do you believe in ghosts or no? Is it happening?
I believe in ghosts, but I'm not going to jump at every feeling I have. I'm not going to jump at every shadow. Anytime there's a noise, I've heard noises all over the place in here. It doesn't mean there's, and I have felt presences, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to say, oh yes, I feel an old man over here, or yes, I feel 15 people down here in the orchestra pit. I believe in ghosts, but I have to see it for myself. And I'm not saying that other people are lying. I'm just saying if you want to convince me, your ghosts better be prepared to show themselves, or they better be prepared to do something to convince me.